Hey everyone, welcome to Wax Pack Wisdom. I'm Jake T. O'Donnell. Today it is Thursday, the 23rd. It is a mail day edition. There's some really exciting vintage card stuff that came in the mail today that I'm really excited to share with you. So these cards that came today were my auction wins from the May 2024 Robert Edward Auctions, REA auctions, their May auction. In total today, there were 8 cards that showed up. It was 4 different lots, so 3 slabs and then a lot of raw cards. And I'm going to show you all of the cards. And I will just mention that, like, in the May auction, there was some really incredible stuff. There were complete PSA graded sets of 1957, 58, and 59 tops. The complete 1958 set was the item that sold for the highest amount in the entire auction. It went for $126,000. And again, that was a near complete set. There was 1 card missing, but it was number 13 on the PSA set registry. And there was some other amazing stuff that went too. There was a T206 Ty Cobb with a use it back, which you never see those. That went for $54,000. 1907 Wolverine News postcard Ty Cobb portrait in an SGC 1.5, that went for $29,000. And amazing stuff. There was a PSA 8 Hank Aaron rookie card that went for $36,000. Let me get into what I was able to get. So there's, like I said, 3 pre-war slabs. These are all Hall of Famers. And the first one is this T206, 1909 to 1911 polar bear back T206 Johnny Evers with bat Chicago on shirt. And there you go. So the reason why I picked, well, I guess there's multiple reasons why I picked this up. Number one, I'm trying to get playing days cards of Hall of Famers, as many of them as I can, as many Hall of Famers as I can. This is my first Johnny Evers card. You saw from my Shriners pickups that I did get a Joe Tinker card, his double play partner. He was the shortstop, Johnny Evers was the second baseman, and Frank Chance was the first baseman, the very famous double play combination, Tinker to Evers to Chance. As I mentioned on the video, the Shriners video, Evers and Tinker famously hated each other, but that's a story for another day. I am next going to be looking for a Frank Chance card to complete the trio, so I'll be on the lookout for that. But this is an SGC 2 slab, incredible color on the front, the great sunset in the background. The T206 cards are such works of art. So this is my first polar bear back, as you can see. So I will show you the back. The polar bear backs are very popular, and you can see why, because they are gorgeous. There's a bit of you see right here, there's like a bit of a pen mark, I think, back here. But the beautiful sort of blue backs. What separates the polar bear cards from the other T206 cards is that the polar bear cards were literally put into tobacco pouches, whereas all of the other tobacco cards were issued in packs of cigarettes, or I think maybe some cigars here and there. But polar bear was loose tobacco, so that explains the stains you see back there. Like you see there, like the stains on the border. It's very hard to get them clean, so getting a polar bear back card in a 2 is pretty good. But yeah, so this was my favorite card that I got of the group. And I'm really excited to have this added to my T206 collection with, you saw my Rube Waddell with Joe Tinker. Really happy with that. I'm going to put Johnny back right there. Going to move my face out of the way. All right, so the next 2 slabs are both caramel cards from the 1920s of Hall of Famers. The first one is this Max Carey 1921 American Caramel E121. It is of him batting. So this set, and again, this is an SGC 2. In this set, there are cards of the same player in multiple poses. So that's why you see Max Carey. This is the batting one. I think there's maybe one of him fielding or throwing or something like that. And there you go. And then we'll show you the back. It tells you this set consists of 80 of the leading baseball stars, American National Leagues, made only by the American Caramel Company of Lancaster and York, Pennsylvania. And so, as you can see, it has some sort of caramel stains on the back. Max Carey, Hall of Fame outfielder, was elected by the Veterans Committee in the 60s. He was sort of a central figure connecting sort of 2 different eras for the Pirates, sort of going from the Honus Wagner era into the the Pie Trainer and the Paul Wainer era. And he was I think Carey eventually also played for, I think, the A's at the end of his career too. I can't remember off the top of my head, but he was one of the best outfielders, one of the best center fielders in the National League for quite a few years. So this was a big one for me. I did not have any cards from this set, and Max Carey needed to add a Playing Days card of his for my sort of Playing Days Hall of Fame PC, if you want to call it that. So love this card. Obviously a little bit off, a bit off center, quite a bit off center, but pretty clean overall, and a really nice two. And this one and the next card were probably the two cards that when I saw that they were up for auction, I'm like, those are the ones I want, and I'm gonna set my max bid, and I'm gonna hope that I get them, and I got them both. Yeah, so that's Max Carey, and again, I'll do a separate video at some point to talk a little bit more details about that set. And then here's the other caramel card from the 20s of a Hall of Famer, and this is a 1927 York Caramels E210 George Kelly Type 1. This card is a little bit more beat up. You can see some of the issues on the top right corner. It's got a crease right through the middle there, and then a stain right there on George Kelly's shoulder. But this was one that, like I said, I really wanted to have. I really wanted to get a York Caramels card from this year and to get another Playing Days Hall of Famer. As you can see, George Kelly can do everything well. Thank you, York Caramel Company. I need to look up and see if this was the same company that made York Peppermint Patties. I don't know that off the top of my head. When I do a video about this particular card, I will get that information. But yeah, this is one of a series of 60 of the most prominent stars of baseball. Like these caramel sets in the 20s always had. They had Ty Cobb and Babe Ruth in some instances. George Kelly was a first baseman with the, at this point, it looks like he was still with the Giants. He also spent time with the Reds. He very controversially made it into the Hall of Fame in the 1970s. In his book, in 2000, 2001, when he wrote it, Bill James said that George Kelly was the single least deserving Hall of Famer. So, Veterans Committee at the time in the late 70s had some of his former teammates, guys that he played against, a former GM of his, some reporters that were sort of New York-based guys, and George Kelly and a few other guys that got in the Hall of Fame in the 70s, there was some changes to the Veterans Committee after that. And I've mentioned this every time I've brought up Harold Baines on this channel, that it is unfortunate when guys get in the Hall of Fame and they don't deserve it, because that becomes their legacy, and it takes away from the fact that George Kelly was a fine ball player. But anyway, we'll get into that again another time when I talk a little bit more about this card, but was happy to grab this. So those are the pre-war cards, and I'll put those there. And then there's a stack of raw cards here. So there's 5 cards all in here. These are 1954 New York Journal American cards. And I got a lot of 5 of them. And they're all New York-based players. They're actually all Yankees and Dodgers, although there were Giants in this set as well. So these cards were distributed in New York Journal American newspapers in 1954. And as you can see here, there's an offer. This card may be worth up to $200 cash. New York Journal American offers a $1,000 cash daily for lucky baseball cards. Watch the Journal American daily and Sunday for winning players and numbers. So you can see there's numbers on the bottom there, and that's how you would win. And then on the back of the cards, it has the home schedule for the team that the player was on the card. So you can see that's the Yankees home schedule on the back of this Joe Collins card. So I'll just go through the cards really quickly. Joe Collins, good player. This card may be a little bit hard to tell, especially with the glare, but basically there's a rip in this card right here. This is the worst condition of all of the 5 cards. So Joe Collins, Junior Jim Gilliam, one of the stars of the Dodgers in the 50s. Not a Hall of Fame level star necessarily, but had a long and productive career. He was an infielder, played all around the diamond. This card's in much better shape. Russ Meyer, I meant to look up Russ Meyer. I think he might have been a pitcher, but don't quote me on that. Dodgers. There's the one Hall of Famer in this lot, and that's Pee Wee Reese. So really happy with that. Great smiling pitcher, Pee Wee Reese, one of the great shortstops. And again, I'll just flip around the back. You can see the Dodgers schedule on the back. And then the last card is Ed Robinson, first baseman, who late in life was a podcaster. I've talked about it on 59 Tops Friday. He recounted his life in baseball in the 40s and 50s. and then he was also, for many years, was a general manager, front office member. I think, I can't remember which team, but he was a Texas guy. And then very, very late in life, as he was about 100 years old, he started recording a podcast and sort of recounted his life. So these cards, so these slabs are definitely staying in my PC. I don't know about these. I think that this Joe Collins card, if I can find it, this one that has a rip, I'll probably hang on to this. The other four, though, I think there's a good chance that they may end up going to grading and hopefully get more and then buy something else. But this Joe Collins card, I'll probably just hang on to. It's not going to be worth grading it because it's got that, like I said, it's got that rip through his hat right there. But anyway, so that's mail day. Those are the 8 cards I got. I really hope that you enjoyed this. There's not really many card shows coming up in the near future. I might go to the Dedham show on Memorial Day Monday. The next big thing that's coming on the channel is my 1968 Topps set build. That is my next vintage set build. I will be starting that in June. And I will be tracking as much of that as I can as I actually really build the set. I do have a very large number of the cards already, including all of the important cards. And I'm going to show that in the first video that I do, and then it will be on to showing you how I go about building my sets. So, all right, that is going to do it for this edition of Wax Pack Wisdom. Tell us what you thought of these cards. What's your favorite card of these? What do you think? What do you think of these cards? Are these cards that you would want for your PC? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear it. If you enjoyed this video, we invite you to give it a like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our Wax Pack Wisdom content. In the video description, you'll find links to where you can follow us on all social media channels, and you'll also find a link to a list of our favorite nonprofits and charities. If you enjoyed this video, please consider a donation to one of those organizations. It would mean a lot to us. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Wax Pack Wisdom. Take care.